Hello, and thank you for joining me for another Hippie Eclectic Hope for Yang video. I am Sherry Kirchhoff, and let me give a little update on the progress I've been making fighting for errands and my rights, and securing freedom from our former owner, Thomas Stetzer. I've had so many conversations with new caseworkers and new advocates, and I have a new therapist and advocate within Aaron's school whom I can speak with about issues related to the trauma that Aaron and I've experienced in before Operation Freedom, and what Thomas is attempting to pull with the visitation and with the owning knives and plotting in court to go to Aaron's school and start with a visit and then take him at the end of it. He said this in court, just laid out the scenario. So this is a very serious threat, and so I've got to stay focused on fighting this threat and neutralizing the danger that Thomas Stetzer poses for my son and myself. So anyhow, throughout the conversations that I've been having with these people, in meetings and playing phone tag, I've been able to discuss not only the dangers in the situation that we face and the corruption in the case and custody laws involved, but also how President Andrew Yang could make a lot of this better. By empowering people like me. I came out here by myself to Colorado from Wisconsin. I would have had $1,000 a month to chip in with any friend to pay rent and bills and make an income legal and legitimate beyond that. I wouldn't have been homeless for more than a month or two coming out to Denver. Whereas it was, I had no resources except for food stamps. I tried for jobs, failed to get them, and because of that, I wasn't qualified for any cash assistance because I wasn't, trying hard enough to get a job and get myself out of the homeless situation. But I could go on with, how just having the freedom dividend would have made such a difference. But, with the American Walls Act and the Medicare for All, I would have been able to secure my health care. My ex in Wisconsin would not have been able to use my name and social security number to secure Medicare for himself in Wisconsin after I left. So, it took me from January until October of 2014 to convince Medicaid that I was no longer in Wisconsin. I'm in Colorado and need health care for myself and my unborn child. By then, my pregnancy with Aaron, I was 4 months pregnant, so I needed, health care. So it was absolutely, such a nightmare out here, being taken by Thomas Stetzer 4 months into my adventure in Denver. That wouldn't have happened, I would have been in an apartment, probably would have gotten a studio for $1,000 and found a job a lot easier, and I don't know, it would have been a lot better under Andrew Yang's policies, and then being able to rent out, part of an abandoned store for, being incentivized to do so. It would have been just so much easier to make my way with, President Yang in 2014 instead of, even Obama, the massive progress he was making. Just the ability to have Obamacare and an Obama phone was epic. I was able to keep a little bit of communication without, Thomas being aware of every single thing I did. I just had to keep remembering to delete my text log. It was just constant monitoring. But I was able to get messages out to the world and let a couple people know I'm still alive. And I've been able to find so many more people since Operation Freedom, even though I wish I had more time to chat with people and, catch up on life. It's been a really long time since I've seen anyone I know. But in either case, the progress being made in this case in the fight for survival, I have to stay driven on what's at stake here. Aaron has an amazing life in front of him if we survive this part of it, with Thomas being just unglued. But, I also have to be content instead of fearful or angry in knowing that through, being put through Stetzer slavery hell, Aaron and I have the right to speak up against such treatment, and we have the right to make changes to prevent this from happening to other people. So with my work just beginning with the NAACP, the NAN, the Change.org petition organization, and, hopefully getting a Discrimination Determent Bureau accepted and, approved by, President Ying's people in his future administration would be just amazing. But, taking any steps possible to make those changes happen. Let's see. Getting kind of lost here in my topics I wanted to cover. Well, as I am making this progress, making reports to therapists and getting my thesis papers written for changing the slavery and rape laws in Colorado to, end the unfit parenting time, or at least to change it to a meeting by screen instead of being drug over to this weird place to, be put in front of a stranger and this guy who attacked you. It'd be, brought there by me, and then I can't be there with him. It's an abandonment situation, in Aaron's young mind. So I need to change the visitation laws and to make the courts more aware of, the dangers that we do face in a domestic violence situation, ending it. The courts are content to wait until Thomas Stetzer uses his knife collection, or wait until he carries out his plot to, try to visit and then take Aaron from his school. The courts are the judges are just sitting and greedily waiting for it to happen while they're letting him not take his parenting classes, not take his anger management classes, not pay his child support, not to handle any of his responsibilities whatsoever. It's been just, a nightmare with the courts, and that's why it needs to be changed. So I've been working on my thesis papers for that and for starting the Discrimination Determent Bureau. My plans for that are, somebody arriving at their local bureau office, explaining the ways in which they've been discriminated against, mistreated, abused, etc., in the workplace, in public, in the home, whatever's going on, And your representative will, or intake specialist at that point, will help you gain means to record and document the mistreatment and discrimination, be it voice recorder apps, a tape recorder, is kind of a surveillance app, a cheap camera, some sort of, something to help you document the mistreatment, because we can't bring a friend with us wherever we go. We need to bring our digital witness with us, because in order to stop mistreatment, we need to verify and prove the mistreatment and prevent the corrupt individual from hiding their deeds and getting away with them. Exposure is the first step to a peaceful, neutralizing solution. So the Discrimination Determent Bureau, hopefully someday would be able to help with that by helping you gain your evidence needed, your verification. And then upon inspection, all of the evidence you gather and submit to the Bureau, they would get hold of, the legal team, because there has to be a legal team in a group where there's mediation and litigation. You need to know what laws are in place and work on the ways to, follow the laws that need to be followed and change the laws that need to be changed. You can't just go off half-cocked and do what you want to make things even as you see fit. That's not going to end discrimination. That's going to start a witch hunt, and that's not at all what we need. So, working on my thesis papers to explain all the fine details. But, so hopefully, through exposing misdeeds and corruption where we experience all that, we can mediate and change laws that need changing, and make things even and right, and end the class wars that we have in the United States. So, I'm just hoping that, my ideas could be at least a step and a half in the right direction. There is still so much classism and elitism in our society, and it's holding us all back. So, and, another thesis paper that I'm working on is to explain to immigration lawyers and hopefully eventually the immigration courts in Canada why the safe refugee laws don't apply anymore. One with Trump's concentration camps, anyone who claims to be a refugee is, or anyone who's an undocumented immigrant, it's the just blatant use of cruel and unusual punishments and treatments is just alone enough to end the safe refugee country, whatever they call that agreement. It's not the same scene here as it was when that agreement was made. And there are so many, natural-born citizens and so many, immigrants who have become citizens or have, legal documentation and legal presence. There's just so much, warring amongst society versus the underclasses. American culture's really gotten out of hand, and so many of us face such inhumane treatment. It needs to be known that the United States is not the safe country that it used to be. There's a lot of hatred just brewing, and it's not even under the surface anymore. It's out in the open, just hate crimes and shootings, and just it's getting to be pretty scary here in the United States, and that's another reason we need Andrew Yang to be our president, where Joe Biden is, paying lip service to the idea of bringing people together. He's not really. He's just saying that we should all get behind him because he's Obama's vice president. And that's, not applicable in my books. Andrew Yang's the one who's bringing together all classes, all walks of life, people from all backgrounds. He's forging, a path for all of us and trying to create solutions for all of us and unity for all of us and opportunities for all of us. Andrew Yang is trying to include as many Americans as possible into the American dream. And it's only with Andrew Yang's presidency that those of us who are insecure in our presence here, be it because of disability or race or origin or LGBTQ status or any sort of reason that certain individuals use to discriminate against us. We need to be able to lay those boundaries aside and those prejudices aside and work together as one American, United States. And Andrew Yang's focusing on that. Everybody else is focusing on tearing down their opponents or forcing their way. It's been I don't know how to explain, it's been an unsettling political race so far. I'm just really scared of where we're headed without Andrew Yang as our president. But, well, there is, good stuff going on, though. My son is continuing to grow and develop and, exist on his just J-curve of catching up to his peers and just thriving. So, we've been today to Aaron's kindergarten enrollment. So, just really exciting morning. I was just blown away by what this school, this elementary school has to offer us. It's, as long as we're, stuck stationary in Denver, Colorado, unable to move without Thomas's permission filed in court. He has an address in Westminster that I'm not aware of, and that's okay, but I can't move across town without master's say-so. It makes me wonder who the Denver courts are protecting, although of course we all know who they're protecting. But Aaron's kindergarten enrollment was just amazing. I made them aware of the situation that we've escaped from and how far Aaron has come in the year since Operation Freedom. He's talking, he's using the potty, he's thinking about numbers, he's recognizing some, he's recognizing a couple of letters, he's working on writing little squiggle glyphics. He's made so much progress. He's trying to make friends. He has kids he plays with regularly. He's working very hard on sharing, his toys and school toys. He's eating so much better. He's communicating so much better. He's so much happier and more hopeful. He discusses things, in more depth other than, a couple word answers. Aaron's doing just amazing, and he's learning so much, and he's an amazing builder with his, his Magnetiles or his Legos, his other little blocks. I mean, Aaron's just blossomed and thrived so well. I'm just so proud of him, especially over this past year, what he's worked so hard to overcome. Even though he's having such a hard time now, dealing with daddy feelings in therapy sessions is very hard for him because, he, like everyone else, just wants the situation to be over, just wants us to be safe. And that's just not how things are working out. And it's, it's re-traumatizing Aaron to even have to think about or talk about his father because of how abusive and brutal and just nasty he was and the environment at home was. We went through absolute hell for half a decade. And Aaron wants it to be over and he wants closure just as badly as I do. But he can't articulate that. All he can do is just get angry and hide under tables and cry and freak out when I leave, you drop him off at school, It's been hard. But kindergarten orientation this morning was just wonderful. Their environment and what they have to offer the kids is astounding. It just blows my mind. I wish I could have gone there when I was a kid. And although I don't feel comfortable disclosing the school, I wish I could recommend them, but I need to keep a few things to myself in the situation, and I hope you understand. In the interest of Aaron's and my safety, why I wouldn't want to put a bullseye on Aaron's new school. But they are aware of the situation, and they've, assured me that they have a lot of therapy services, a lot of special needs services, a lot of one-on-one TLC that Aaron really needs right now in, his recovery from the situation we've escaped from. So I am confident and reassured that Aaron's school next year is going to be exactly what he needs. And after seeing the kindergarten classes in there, it's just, and a few of the older kids too, I'm just so looking forward to my son being a part of that environment and what he can accomplish there. I mean, this elementary school starts the children on their paths to the higher education that they may very well need in, the coming decades. They're planning ahead for this, and they're planning ahead for the Fourth Industrial Revolution, and they're planning ahead for health problems associated with diet even. I mean, they make their foods from scratch here at Denver Public Schools, and this school is certainly no exception. It's just, I'm just blown away and joyous at being able to see Aaron's elementary school. This isn't just a kindergarten for him. This is where he'll be through 5th grade as long as we're in the state of Colorado until we're able to relocate. Aaron is going to be safely nested and very well nurtured and educated. It's going to be just amazing where Aaron's going to be able to go. So I am just I'm just fireworks about the whole thing, and really looking forward to Aaron's future and the foundation he'll be able to build in his elementary school. So I got to speak with quite a few of the staff there, and and they're very well equipped to help children who are experiencing trauma and who are, surviving and escaping trauma. There are more and more children all the time who are going through situations like Aaron's and mine, and more extreme ones, like, oh yeah, serial predator, yeah, we'll just put you in this file, we understand. So it's scary to know that, but it's reassuring to know that they understand and they're ready to keep Aaron safe and give him all the tools he'll need to succeed as he grows, giving him a firm, amazing foundation. I'm just so optimistic for him. This isn't anything I could have imagined during Stetzer's slavery hell. Aaron wouldn't have been able to start going to school until his 5th birthday, which will be in March. So this entire, the last school year, and from September halfway through March, Aaron wasn't supposed to be going to school according to Thomas Stetzer's laws. I had to go around his back and sneak online and find schools who I could apply to online, without having to sneak there myself. And it was through, absolute blessings that we were connected to Clayton Early Learning, in the first place. So, being able to start Aaron off there and, through an argument and being blessed with the right words, being able to convince Thomas that it would be too obvious and wrong and raise red flags if he were to reject Clayton Early Learning as our choice for Aaron's preschool. So it's, just a miracle that Aaron was even able to start there. And so now to be able to continue in elementary school and have such an amazing place to go to, I'm just in awe. But I can't just focus on, the civil rights battle, and how to, take care of Aaron's childcare needs. I also need to focus on how to take care of ourselves and gain independence from the slavery situation, because only, through gaining independence can we gain freedom. It's not up to caseworkers. These agencies are not equipped to handle society's problems and, just swoop in and save the day whenever they're needed, even though, so many of these workers wish they could. There's just not enough resources to go around. So I need to build resources myself. And in order to do that, I'll have, fewer appointments coming up since I'm doing fewer intake meetings. So I'll hopefully soon be able to create more products on my Zazzle shop. And I'll put the link on the description here. I've found even more that there's just an unlimited assortment of what I could create on Zazzle. And all different price ranges and all different styles and subject matters and etc., etc., etc. It is just an unlimited playground. So I can't wait to have more time to putter around on my Zazzle shop. My big priority on there will be to make more products centered around Aaron, to raise funds for him directly. As I written on my old Teespring couple of things I've been able to launch on there, I'm going to shut that down. It's a pain in the butt. But any products I have on Zazzle or Teespring or anything that feature Aaron or feature my apparel philanthropy clients or photos or graphics that they send me, the profits from those items will go to benefit the people involved. You know, I want to diversify into veterans, you know, support items and items for my son to build his adult savings, you know, for education, housing, a car, you know, his growing up needs, a school tuition. If I could get him into a parochial school, would be, you know, after elementary, would be just, you know, to give my son the best future he possibly can have and get him out of the quagmire that I've been stuck in for the first 33 years of my life. You know, I want to build a future for Aaron, and so anything that I make for him, in his honor, featuring him, any Aaron-related stuff has, you know, it's purely to benefit Aaron and his future. You know, it's all going to be saved for him and his direct needs. So, you know, I'll be able to make more, you know, products soon. And, you know, in addition to, you know, the graphic products, I'll be able to make, you know, for Aaron's benefit, I hope to diversify the products that I have for my existing apparel philanthropy client, Natalie Cheeseman. I, you know, would like to get more available in her collection for her to, you know, represent and market. Natalie is just so brilliant and works so hard. I hope that I could help her with my apparel philanthropy project. And I hope to help others as well. You know, despite how busy I am, you know, essentially fighting the American Civil War to end slavery because it's still happening. These case laws that defend rape and slavery as acceptable practices need to be ended, but in the midst of society's crises and the human rights just mess that we are in, you know, having the opportunity to help others is what makes the struggle worth it. You know, I know people who've been freed from their personal captivity and they hide in a hole and stay there until death is a blessing to them. You know, that's not where I need to be. You know, I need to use freedom from Thomas Stetzer to bring myself and my son to a place where we could take care of ourselves and have a bright future instead of just waiting for the next attack from Thomas or the next, you know, abuser to come along and take whatever they will. Because, I mean, I can't even begin on what an abuser can make a caseworker believe or do. You know, with Section 8 or the Homeless Coalition, it's just, it's how ownership was enforced for so long, was, you know, it's too much to get into again. I've been hashing on the 5 years of Stetzer slavery, how for two, I've got to focus on how I'm getting us out of it. So, basically, as I was saying, I'll be able to spend more time on my Zazzle shop to create products, to, you know, gain self-sustainability. And there's all kinds of different price ranges involved too. So whatever kind of tickles your fancy, I will throw some cool fractals on it, and we'll see what I can create. We'll see. Zazzle's just amazing. So, you know, anyone who is so kind as to go shopping on my Zazzle store, you're showing me that my efforts are worth it, that, it helps give me hope in the future that I'm trying to build. And it also lets society know that maltreatment and captivity are not okay, and that you are in support of freedom and survival and, building a future and gaining safety. So, I appreciate any and all who, visit my shop or give patronage and buy products or even share links or tell their friends, because it goes a long way to, even ensuring mine and Aaron's survival. If we're attacked, it'll be known, so he won't be able to get away with it by hiding his deeds, like so many attackers and corrupt individuals in the whole workplace and other authority. They can hide their deeds, they can continue their deeds. So, going to my shop or sharing it or liking or subscribing to my videos, or any way that you show support for, my efforts as Hippie Click to Cope, it all goes a long way to preventing future attacks and to keeping, literally keeping us alive and giving me hope to keep going. So, I appreciate all of you who, are part of Team Give a Darn. So, thank you for, being part of, being part of my support system and Aaron's support system and helping to, let us find the way out of Stetzer slavery hell once and for all. So thank you. And another effort I'll be putting forth, with, the goal of independence is, being in Denver Metro, sales don't necessarily need to take place online. If you would like to, see a private viewing of the jewelry I have available, or if you're having a baby shower or a birthday party or a whatever little get-together where you and your friends might want to pick out some cute little trinkets and accessories, I would just love to be able to, give a jewelry showing, of my available products and supplies, because, well, it's all handmade stuff, even this nice bracelet, it's, of course, Colorado friendly, but, it's a nice arthritis-friendly pinch clasp, and the rings are all semi-precious gemstones and abalone and good fun stuff and just pretty stuff. I found these beautiful jade crucifixes at my favorite shop in Cherry Creek, and the cool thing about my jewelry, it might be easier to see on this one, is the face pieces, the central focal point actually flips and turns and spins. So you can catch a different view every time you wear the ring. And, of course, this isn't, this is beads and wire and the stones. It's not, forged metal. I don't have a crucible or, anything to make hard set rings. So, be aware that it's pretty fragile. That it's not really fragile, but don't get rough with the stuff. And, but I mean, every piece is unique and different. This is, green lapis with some really nice acrylics, glass and shell, and some tiger's eye. So it's, it's just, everything's unique and everything's beautiful. So I'm sure, you and your friends will be able to find something that you enjoy. And a private viewing just does an item so much more justice than seeing it on a website. You know, a photo on a screen, just, it and it takes the life out of the item, even though, you know, not saying, but, you know, but in either case, if you would like to, you know, take a look at the jewelry that I do have available on my simple site to kind of get an idea of what I have, if it would interest you to, you know, schedule a viewing, you'll really enjoy what you see, and you'll be blown away. It'll just look forward to it. So, you know, give a call, get hold of me over Twitter, or comment on this video. I'll leave some contact methods if jewelry viewing sounds interesting to you. Because, you know, as I said, a website just doesn't seem to do it justice. It's so much more when it's so much better when you can just see it in your hand, you know, tangibly. And let's see here. What else do I have in my notes? You know, the reason I need to push for, you know, my business ventures on Patreon, I'm going to have even a $1, you know, I give a buck, you know, tier for those of you who, you know, wish to help the cause and wish to help me take care of my son and take care of our needs and secure our freedom and safety from Thomas Stetzer. You know, in recovering and recouping from 5 years of captivity, you know, the reason I need to push for this is because of the difficulties inherent in chasing a child support check. Yeah, I have the direct deposit card, the case has been assigned, the payments have been ordered, but nothing's happening. You know, Thomas says over Talking Parents that the child support payments are being taken out of his check, but he's not saying who's paying his check, nor is he saying how the payments are being arranged. You know, and on top of all that, you know, my neighbor reported the other day that Thomas Stetzer is flying cardboard on 6th and York with a sign that claims, "Homeless, please help." You know, he's telling the courts that he has a Westminster apartment and a job. You know, he's said that he's flagging, you know, where he was, and I confirmed that to be false, because, you know, they haven't seen him at Flaggers Inc. since 2016, when he quit when I found the night job. You know, according to Thomas, it was my fault we didn't have anything we needed because I kept spending all our money. I didn't have any money in my hand to spend. If there was money in the home, it was, you know, fiercely guarded, regulated, and counted and, you know, recorded by Thomas. If I took pennies out of the jar, he would know, and there would be punishment, you know. We existed in captivity. So, you know, in 2016, when Thomas stopped his job, and, you know, when I found that night job, I became the family breadwinner. I had to support the family of 3 by myself. Being disabled and illegally denied benefits and other assistance that my son and I need and deserve and should have had to get out of Stetzer slavery hell from the beginning. So, you know, I need to focus on, you know, running shop, running business, you know, working for myself and my son to get out from captivity, you know, ourselves without being rescued by caseworkers who don't have the capacity and the resources they need. So, thank you for tuning in to another Hippie Click to Cope video, and, for your understanding in this situation, because it's awareness and spreading the word of, the struggle to get free from captivity, from an abuser, from a predator. Awareness of the struggle and any assistance otherwise that you're able to give goes miles to, literally keep my son and myself safe from harm that Thomas Stetzer intends to cause. Keeps my son safe from a future of thinking he's a fourth-generation outlaw biker, who needs to attack disabled women and homeless, drug-addicted prostitutes in order to make a way for himself. What kind of bottom feeder feels the need anyway. So the cycle needs to end. Aaron has such an amazing future, and, I've called Thomas on that, on the Talking Parents, that he has a right to that future. He's a brilliant little boy. He knows more about dinosaurs than I do. He's really into construction vehicles and building things, buildings themselves, and, transportation vehicles, cars, trucks, spaceships, planes. Aaron's just so into everything. He's always designing something new. He builds little racetracks for his Matchbox cars out of stuff laying around the house. I mean, he's so brilliant and so inspired by everything that he sees. Aaron has an amazing future waiting for him if we could stay once and for all out of Stetzer slavery hell and, gain and keep our freedom from Thomas Stetzer and have the closure that we need and deserve. Aaron has such an unlimited potential if we can stay out of bondage. So, that's why we need your help to spread the word, raise awareness, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And, just feel my appreciation for that. Because, even just raising awareness is enough to keep Aaron and me alive and safe and well, and avoid an attack by Thomas Stetzer, and, gaining support with my business endeavors, etc., will keep us free and independent from Thomas Stetzer and from the state of Colorado's binding, just leashing maneuver. I can't move across town without Master's permission. I mean, I don't get it. But we need, any help that you're able to give, any patronage to our businesses, any help, support, raising awareness, anything you're able to do is, very much needed and very much appreciated, because it's, going to keep us alive and well and safe. So, thank you, and have a blessed weekend, and, let's just keep working together to, build a future where so many of us don't have to escape captivity. Let domestic violence and abuse and prejudice in the workplace and society let it all end. Let the negative aspects of United States society finally end, so that we can all have a future that's worth waking up to, that we don't need to get drunk and stoned to cope with. You know, we need to work together, and we need to fix the problems that we have. So, you know, thank you for being part of the Hippie Eclectic Hope mission. And, you know, if you're caring about my sons and my survival, and, you know, about ending this, you know, terrible cycle that so many of us are caught in. So, again, have a blessed weekend, and I'll catch you next time, hopefully with more good news than frustrations. So, take it easy. Hippie Eclectic Hope for Yangs signing off. Have a wonderfully blessed weekend, and just take care, and thanks for, you know, again, for being part of the Hippie Eclectic Hope mission, and for showing your support and love, and just, you know, making it worth it to keep waking up in the morning. So, thank you. Take care. And, you know, at the end here, I felt it perhaps necessary to show some screenshots of the constant harassment and my retaliation, you know, taking place over talking parents. It's been a roller coaster ride of just getting harassed and bothered all times of day and night with demands that visitation be set up now, or that, you know, the items that don't belong to them, the items that are dangerous like the knives, the items that don't exist like the bicycle, the items I packed and sent with already like the van title and a birthstone and some other weird stuff, you know, just miscellaneous things too. You know, I felt it necessary to include a bit of a transcript from the Talking Parents, or as I've come to know it, the Stalking Rapist website. You know, just to show you the experience and to show you what I'm trying to do to record, you know, the Stetzer slavery hell in spite of the isolation we were kept in. You know, I've told him on there that it's a life insurance policy to ensure that he's not dumb enough to try any of this, you know, the violent, drastic actions that he threatened during the 5 years of Stetzer slavery hell. You know, most commonly threatened to murder me, like Ms. Diane Litke, who's still alive, and leave me, you know, my corpse on the side of the Rocky Mountains for the mountain lions to scavenge on, while he, as a single, almost elderly dad, does the best he can to raise this out-of-control little whelp that I couldn't get in rain. Like, that's not a future for my son. You know, he'll be beaten and brutalized and trained to beat and brutalize others. So I've got, you know, most of the recent Talking Parents transcript, you know, in photos, but I had to take pictures of my laptop screen because I haven't figured out how to take screenshots from the Moto itself or include photos from my computer onto the videos with this program, or, you know, import files from outside the phone. So I can't take screenshots with the phone, and I can't take import photos or documents or graphics from outside. So it's a little frustrating trying to get the transcript on the video, but I felt it's necessary, you know, to add to the exposure of the situation and to, you know, give you guys some insight into what kind of just deranged crap went on for half a decade. Thomas Stetzer designed hell, and we got out last year, and he's obsessed with doing everything he can to extend his control. So, to end that control and to gain freedom, I need to expose just his lunacy and expose what happened, because there's so few people were allowed to witness any aspect of Stetzer slavery hell, except for my son and myself, who were forced to endure it for half a decade, from Mother's Day of 2014 until January 29th of 2019, when I was able to bring my son home to our apartment post-restraining order delivery, when this was, became almost a safe home. So, including as much documentation as possible is another theme on my Discrimination Determent Bureau plans. It's, through exposure and proving the misdeeds and proving what's going on, we can end it, because they can't deny and hide and continue to mistreat so many. So, a lot of my hard evidence, recorded at the time of, was lost and destroyed when Thomas Stetzer took my old phone that I had given to Aaron. He took it and used the Google access to, destroy evidence and destroy files. And so, having a Discrimination Determent Bureau will prevent that from happening, because you'll, be able to sneak off every so often and deliver evidence and deliver verification and, have some help logging it. Because, you get caught with enough evidence, you're dead. These attackers, your predator finds out that you're taking steps to end the abuse. They get drastic. Attackers will get drastic, as Thomas Stetzer has, So, documentation is key, exposure is key to ending corruption and mistreatment and discrimination and abuse and captivity. Because if you're not safe in your home, if you're not safe in your job, if you're not safe walking down the hallway of your apartment complex, you're not safe. And that's not a life. That's fear. So, well, I better quit rambling for one installment anyway, and I'll continue to keep y'all posted as updates occur. So, hopefully there'll be more good things happening, as time moves on, as the actions that I've been able to take so far bear fruit, especially in regards to the NAACP, the NAN, the Change.org, and the Yang administration, and in hopes of beginning the Discrimination Determent Bureau and changing the corrupt case laws and custody laws in Colorado and around the United States, which protect abusers and predators and rapists and thugs. It's, I hope that more good things, can be reported next time. So, moving forward.